Now, there will be some logic to our various selections as we draft the storylines we are looking forward to, whether it's training camp battles or anything else. It's as broad as we want it to be. When training camps open and the teams gather and stuff starts to happen, what are the storylines that we will most be looking forward to paying attention to? You're up.
Well, I'm going to the Fighting Jim Irsay's, all right? The Indianapolis Colts right there. The quarterback situation and everything that is around it. I mean, first off, it's a huge year, it seems like, with the Indianapolis Colts. It seems like Shane Steichen's butt's on the line here. It feels like they were thinking about changing everything last year when the offseason started. Chris Ballard feels like this might be the last hurrah here as well. And now we have the number 4 pick in the draft, Anthony Richardson, going into year 3, and he's dueling it out with Daniel Jones to be a starting quarterback with a team that has, it's not crazy to think that they could sneak into the playoffs or do something like that. So that's what I'm excited to see right there. Daniel Jones is better than the public realizes, and that's going to be cool to see. And then Anthony Richardson, we know, has this great physical ability and potential, but that's always something. And here we are now with a shoulder problem, and that's weird to me. I know he's banged up his shoulder and all that too, but he's got a very violent motion on the shoulder. He doesn't use his body. His arm is an independent contractor. If you watch Anthony Richardson throw, it's all just right here. It's everything just flops from the elbow and the shoulder, and that's tremendous stress on your shoulder, and I could see why maybe he aggravated it that way. It would worry me a little bit, but the Colts, big time to watch out for.
Hey, the moment Shane Steichen said that Richardson will be back at some point during training camp, that told me Jones is going to win the job. And the question becomes, what are they going to do with Anthony Richardson long term? And we may be actually talking about that topic later in the program, depending upon how the clock plays out.
Okay.
First one for me is the Browns quarterback mess.
Yeah.
What are they going to do? Who's going to get reps? How are they going to get a guy ready? Because that's the thing. You need to figure out who your starter is going to be, so you need to have a competition. But you need to get the competition resolved so the guy who's going to be the starter can get ready. I mean, to me, it all points to Joe Flacco because he's the guy who is most likely to be ready to go week 1 with limited reps. He's been there. He's done that. He's a veteran. He doesn't need to go out there and have all of these practice snaps so he's ready to go week 1. And then you focus on which of the 2 rookies is going to be in line to be number 2 and the guy that is most likely to be developed. But that competition is going to continue all year long, or at least until it's time to put one of them on the field. And even then, the competition won't be over. We may not know who the starter is between Dillon Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders over the long haul for 2 or 3 years. They've got their contracts at very low amounts. One was drafted round 3, the other was drafted round 5, and they've got them for 4 years each. This competition may last for a very long time, but I think that how this all works, and I still am putting the flag in the ground on Kenny Pickett won't be there when training camp opens. I think it'll be Flacco and Gabriel and Sanders battling it out with Deshaun Watson possibly showing up at some point saying, I've been cleared to play, deal with me.
Yeah, no, I hear that too. I'm excited to see how that plays as well. How they divvy up the reps, who and how much they play in the preseason games, and where that all goes is definitely fascinating. And they've put themselves in quite the awkward position there. Man, there's a lot to choose from here. I don't like choosing obvious ones here, but I mean, to stay in the state of Ohio with the Cincinnati Bengals, I think I'd be lying if that's not one of the number one things on my radar as far as going into the training camp area of the NFL season. And the Cincinnati Bengals, I mean, are you kidding me? They're a team that's, as we saw, if they got in the playoffs last year, I don't know, they might have gone to the Super Bowl. They could have done it the way they were playing in the offense. And here we are, 2 years in a row, stupid distractions, contracts, the Trey Hendrickson thing, the Shamar Stewart thing. They don't have a big-time, awesome difference maker on their front seven other than Trey Hendrickson, and he's not there. And the other guy that could be that is Shamar Stewart, and they're messing up that contract situation. And he could be learning from Trey Hendrickson. So, yeah, for one of those teams with one of those quarterbacks, for sure, yeah, I'm looking at the Bengals and see how they mess up this situation even more as we go forward here.
Well, and I was going to have Shamar Stewart specifically as one of my picks. Let me just say this. There's an item at PFT right now. Don't go read it now. Read it after the show. But I did a deep dive in the CBA on what Shamar Stewart's options are because there's this weird impasse over the language of his contract. The Bengals are trying to change the language that they have in all their contracts as it relates to the voiding of guarantees in future years. It's a very esoteric fine point. The Bengals are trying to cram that language onto Shamar Stewart. His attitude is, I don't want language any different than the guy that you picked last year in round 1 behind me, Amarius Mims. He went 18, I went 17. I should have the same language that he has. If the Bengals are as stubborn as we've seen them be in other contexts, very simply, they can trade Shamar Stewart until August 5. Shamar Stewart, if he's not traded by August 5, can't be traded to another team whether he signs or not. He can stay away as late as Week 10. The Tuesday after Week 10, the window closes on him playing for anyone this year, and then he could potentially re-enter the draft next year, and any team other than the Bengals could draft him in 2026. So he has options, but not many, and I'd like to think that calmer heads will prevail at some point, but the Bengals have proven to be very stubborn, and Stewart seems to be dug in. So it's just, how are they going to tie their hand behind their backs this year to make it harder for them to come out of the gates and win football games that could keep them from getting to the playoffs? And Joe Burrow seems to be agitated, and hopefully they'll wake up and get this taken care of and set the ego aside, set the stubbornness aside, set the cheapness aside, and do what's right for your team. Okay, next one for me, Giants quarterback situation. Because, look, to me the logic is very simple. Last year, Russell Wilson was not great. The year before, Russell Wilson was not great. The year before, Russell Wilson was not great. Okay? The Steelers wanted nothing to do with him when he became a free agent. The Giants sign him, and then they trade back into round 1 to get Jackson Dart. Well, if you think Jackson Dart is a guy that you're willing to trade back into round 1 to get, he should be good enough to beat out Russell Wilson. So, what will happen? Will Dart be given a fair opportunity to beat out Russell Wilson, or are they going to try to set this up as, we don't know how good we're going to be this year. Let's protect the kid. Let's just put Russell out there, and then if and when he fails, we can go with Jackson Dart, yada, yada. But I think that if it's a fair competition and you got it right with Jackson Dart, he should be able to beat out Russell Wilson.
I hear you. I hear you there. I've made comments, I know, in the last few weeks where I wouldn't shock me if Jackson Dart was the day 1 starter. That's not shocking. I mean, no. I mean, he knows how to run an offense. The Lane Kiffin offense in college football, there's more pro stuff in that than there is in a lot of other offenses in the college game. He's ready to go. He's well-schooled. You could see that with the stuff that we saw behind the scenes with Brian Daboll and Jackson Dart in the meetings, in the pre-draft process and all of that. So, I hear you there. And, I'm interested to see how they do it, too. I think if Jackson Dart really plays well and shows the understanding of the offense and executes the offense, and Russell Wilson's just then I would go, I think there's a chance. I would think there's a chance. But I could also see, even if it's just going, let's just put Russell out to start the year, and we'll work some of the kinks out with the team. And then when we kind of get the team okay, then we'll say, hey, Jackson Dart, it's your turn. And I could see it going either way there. And it's just interesting because we know it plays so much into the future of the regime there with the New York Giants. Daboll, you can put him on ice and say, no, let's not do anything. Let's wait till next year till he's hitting on all cylinders and he's the best version of himself. Or you could throw him out there this year at some point and go, hey, look what he's doing. Look at the progress he's making. Hey, we got something. Don't let me go because I'm working with this guy, and you could see we're going upwards here. So a lot of ways that Giants situation could go with there, Mike. I'm with you. All right, last pick for me, right?
Last pick for you.
What do you think here? I got I'm of course interested in the Lions coordinator situation. I don't think I want to pick that. J.J. McCarthy and just the buzz we hear in training camp about him and what he's doing with what I think we both look at as kind of a Super Bowl-ish team there with the Vikings. I'm going to go with this one. I'm going to go with the Bills, all right? And there's 2 guys I'm looking at because I think they got 2 guys on the team that if they play well this year, it could take them up a notch, all right? One is Keon Coleman. What does he look like, right? There was a lot of talk last year about not on the same page, still raw, not doing things exactly right. Just Josh Allen hasn't put him in the trust tree. He's got talent. We know that. If he can do some good things for that offense, you start to go, ooh, man. Whoa, they got him, those tight ends, Khalil Shakir. Hopefully they figure out the James Cook situation. He's added into this contract thing as well here with the Bills. That's exciting. And then Joey Bosa on the defensive side. If he can stay healthy and be out there rushing the passer, I go, damn, that could be the difference maker the Bills need on some big third downs against the better teams in football. So I'll stay with the Bills there, and some of their players got to show up for them this year.
Yeah, the things I've considered, number one, the Saints quarterback situation, although I think Tyler Shuck is going to end up being the week one guy. And frankly, what are the Saints really going to be this year?
Yeah.
I thought about the Raiders receiver position, the Raiders receiver room. It's Jacoby Myers, and you've got Jack Betch, the brother of Tiger Betch, who was killed in the New Orleans terror attacks on New Year's Day. Like, it's kind of a wide open slate as to who the pass catchers are going to be for the Raiders this year. But I'm going to go to Minnesota.
Yeah.
Because it's a combination of J.J. McCarthy and you've got this running back room now with Aaron Jones, got the first name right, and Jordan Mason. And Jones is making $10 million this year. Mason's making $5 million this year. Mason may be the better guy. And it makes me wonder, and it's two different styles, but it makes me wonder, to help protect J.J. McCarthy, could we see for the first time in Kevin O'Connell's tenure as a head coach more of a commitment to running the ball? They've beefed up the interior offensive line. We know what Mason can do between the tackles. You've got Aaron Jones who can contribute outside and in the running game. Could they make a concerted effort to run the ball more, short passing game, high percentage, build J.J. McCarthy's confidence, and balance out the offense as they let McCarthy move toward whatever his ceiling may be and really get the most out of their running backs, something the Vikings have not done in recent years. So what happens during camp and what kind of buzz is coming from that offense, and they may hold it all close to the vest until week one. They got that Monday night game against the Bears. But it could be, even with Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison and T.J. Hawkinson, it could be that they maximize these running backs, and one of the guys is going to be the starter. And even though the contract points to Aaron Jones, Jordan Mason has the potential to be pretty damn good in that offense.
I would say he's going to be the leading rusher on the team. That's what I think when all is said and done. I think Aaron Jones will be a little bit more of the gadget. Let's get him in space guy. We got to throw a screen. We got him there. We need a wheel route up the sideline from our running back. That's where you'll see Aaron Jones. But to your point, and yeah, we all know we're looking at J.J. McCarthy, but to me, that's the one missing piece or whatever, where I'll always, you've heard me say it last year, Kevin O'Connell's offense can go to a different stratosphere. The passing offense is off the charts. Nobody can get people, he gets the people open as good as any play caller in football, Kevin O'Connell. But the run game's a little bit, I'm underwhelmed by it when I watch the Vikings. There's not a lot of creativity. There's not a lot of different ideas in what they do. If they start to add that, right, and maybe some of the stats for the receivers have to take a step back, but I think if they add that, and then this quarterback, that's the perfect thing to bring him along slowly, it'll make them a more dangerous football team late in the year. It'll make them a more explosive football team late in the year. Pass game or run game. I'm with you. It's something to watch out for there in Minnesota. I'm with you all the way.
And that's the key. We did the draft recently of the coaches who need to win a playoff game. Not that Kevin O'Connell's job is riding on it, but you don't want the narrative to become a burden, and you don't want that first playoff game to be harder and harder to win. By the time they get to the playoffs, if they get to the playoffs, and it will be harder than last year, the schedule is more difficult, but if they would get to the playoffs, J.J. McCarthy's going to have a full season under his belt. So, you balance out the offense, you let McCarthy gradually build some confidence, and who knows? With Kevin O'Connell there as the quarterback whisperer and the Vikings believing in McCarthy enough to make him the 10th overall pick last year, who knows what's going to happen in Minnesota. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.